Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence.
Banking made simple and convenient. At Builtwell Bank, we're here for you. Whether you're making a milestone purchase or saving for retirement, our dedicated financial team will walk with you every step of the way because we care. From personal banking accounts to making sure your business and commercial needs are met, we'll make sure you have a dedicated Builtwell banker that understands your unique needs and goals. Serving Lawrenceburg and Summertown. Come see us today. Member FDIC.
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
At C&B Linen, fast, friendly, and reliable service is our promise to you. Because you're not just a customer, you're family. From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. From our high-quality products to our fast, friendly, and reliable service, you'll experience the difference with C&B Linen. Because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody here to X Sports Live, brought to you by C&B Linen. AJ Good, joined by Michael Marks, and my daughter, all gas, no brakes, Tessa Good, is she's also in here. So if you hear noises outside of what we normally do, that's what she's doing. She's got a chicken nugget in one hand, having a lot of fun with the helmets in the other. So she is living her best life. Yeah, and if need be, she'll get Miss Rachel here in a little bit, as you can see her right here. Yeah, go eat your Happy Meal, Miss. But Mike, we got a lot of history. Not only a lot of history on deck could be for this weekend, but we got a lot of history that was made last night over at Tom. Yeah, welcome everybody. Wildcat baseball team, Mike, for the first time since 1977, when my sister was born, finished as the state runners-up, the Soddy Daisy. The Wildcats, now one of currently 7 teams. You got one more series to be decided. They're in Class 3A, and they are going to the state tournament. Pretty dominant 2-game sweep over Martin Luther King Magnet the last 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, and the starting pitchers for both teams performed a lot better. Braden Morrison had an outstanding start, only giving up 3 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts to only 2 walks, and the offense. I mean, it got going early and it got going often. That 4-run second inning put them in front, and they never relinquished that lead.
Yeah, they threw their ace. We didn't know why they didn't throw him in game 1, and it turns out he threw 111 pitches on Saturday. He wasn't available until game 2 here. He has some really good stuff. You can see why he's their ace. He's a senior, one of only 3 seniors that this team has, so we expect Martin Luther King to be a part of the mix in the years to come, and they were starting 8th graders out there as well. But, Lawrence County was really patient at the plate, forced a lot of walks, took advantage. Martin Luther King had 5 errors in game 2, 6 errors in game 1. The Wildcats took advantage of every single one of those. They just played really good baseball. You mentioned Braden Morrison goes 5 innings, strikes out 8. Logan Clayton comes in, out of the bullpen, 6 batters face, 6 strikeouts,
Yeah.
and looked incredible last night to come out there to shut the door. Game 1, kind of a shaky start for Logan Mays, but Case Chapman comes in, gives him 4 really good innings, followed by Trenton Waller and Landon Bracey, who came in and gave them some good stuff as well. This team, pitching-wise, should be good and loaded going into the state tournament starting Tuesday, but just so impressed. No drama in either game. It was more of, okay, what was the final score was going to be? Who was going to win was never in doubt.
Yeah.
In these games, as you can see, Logan just looking filthy, looking nasty out there, and it just I had a feeling in the early going, Mike, that this team was going to be special. I thought this team could get to this point. Beyond that, it's just so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You're dealing with high school kids. You're dealing with metal bats. You're dealing with a lot of things. But once they won the district, and then once they beat Battle Creek, and we kind of you could have thrown Liberty Creek against them, who did qualify, so they're going to be in the state tournament. But you could have thrown anyone in front of them right then and there. It could have been Franklin County, Tullahoma. Lawrence County is going to find their way to Murfreesboro. So they're either going to be at Blackman or Smyrna High on Tuesday. We'll find out, I think, after Alcoa and Macon County. They're the only series that's got to finish up. So, but what just incredible performances all across the board.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, AJ, the offense did exactly what it needed to. Nobody had a huge game, but everybody just did enough to get the job done. And exciting first time in 49 years making the trip to Murfreesboro and have a chance to bring home your first state championship. And at least on the baseball side in school history, it'd be super exciting.
Yeah, and just it's the last time that they made it to the state championship game. Unfortunately, losing to Saudi Daisy, but. Clint Wright called me last night. He goes, man, I've been so emotional. And he was. After the game, his eyes were just bloodshot red. You can tear. He had to go sit down at one point during the celebration because he was so overcome with emotion. And the one thing he said to me, he goes, man, we ain't showing up just to be there. We're showing up to win this thing. And I'm like, okay. And you can tell the team was super happy last night. They were celebrating their signing a big sign. I know everyone's seen the pictures of, but you can tell on the faces of a lot of those guys last night that this isn't the end goal. To get there isn't the end goal. It's to get there and to win it. Yeah. So you can just tell that this team's ready to rock and roll. But 7 of the 8 teams have been filled in that field right now, and there's some excellent competition out there that they could be facing. Yeah,
I would say 3A is definitely going to be tough, but some of the usual names not there. Not you obviously, since Lawrence County there's no Tullahomas, it's not a lot of Middle Tennessee teams. It's a lot of East and West Tennessee. So going to be some teams you're unfamiliar with, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be just far and away impossible for you to go out there and make a deep run in this.
Yeah. So East Tennessee, you got Greenville, Gibbs. 30-game winner, really, really good team. Heritage High School, normally pretty good. Get Macon County. Alcoa's really kind of come on strong. We remember them from Class 2A.
Yes.
They're on Loretta's side of the I don't think Loretta ever played them, did they?
They were on the same side, but I don't think they ever ran into each other. Yes.
Into pretty quickly. Liberty Creek, who knocked off Battle Creek. A couple come-from-behind wins in that game there for Liberty Creek. Obviously, Lawrence County, Crockett County, 34-3.
Yeah.
They will go into the state tournament. They kind of dominated there on the West Tennessee side of things. And Covington, who took out Dyer County 2-0. So a lot of 2-0 sweeps. Only one of these series going to an extra game. That's Alcoa and Macon County tonight.
Yeah, it shows that you got a lot of teams making their trip to the state tournament that are ready to be there.
Yeah.
They 2-0 easy sweeps. Obviously, I would assume if any to go to 3, it would be that Macon County and Alcoa one, 2 very talented teams there. And then after tonight, we should have the full slate set up for next week.
Yeah. Okay, you want up? Okay. Yeah, you're excited. You want to talk about the Wildcats too, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah. What did you think about it? Yeah. You look like you've grown up so much more. No, you're not going to be. Nope. Okay. I used to call her chaos personified, but now, drawing inspiration from professional wrestling, the best way to describe this child is all gas, no brakes, because that's exactly what she is. All gas. But when she does hit the brakes, she crashes and sleeps for 3 hours. Yeah, go get your food. Go eat eat your Happy Meal. But again, that's going to be a really tough class to get through. I mean, it's a state tournament. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not going to be easy for Lawrence County in any stretch here. It's, you literally got to take it a one game at a time approach and go with it from there. It's the best way you can do.
Yeah. Obviously, it's hard to kind of prepare for a state tournament when you've never been there before, when you haven't been there with this group. Right. But the thing is, it's not a very old group, and I say that in a good way. Yeah. You've got a bunch of guys that know that this isn't their one shot at it. You've got a lot of guys coming back next year. So I think they're going to be playing rather loose, rather free up there. And listen, you're going to have to see who your matchup is, who's on your side before you can really start getting into the logistics of it. But it should be a ton of fun in Murfreesboro next week.
And the thing is, this thing starts Tuesday, so that kind of puts, you got to think about pitching, obviously. I'm Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I guess you could maybe start a Braden Morrison. Obviously, Logan Mays is available. Case Chapman would be available. Logan Clayton. Literally, I think their entire pitching staff should be available going into Tuesday. And that's just, again, we've talked about it a lot. It's the fun about high school baseball, with the pitch counts and with everything. It's just literally, there's just so much strategy involved because, you are guaranteed 2 games.
Yes.
That's all you're guaranteed.
Yeah, so you got to work everything out, and you could play as many as 5 or 6 when it comes to it. So you're going to have everybody on their A game and ready to go. State tournaments, when you see a lot of teams try to just go one pitcher complete game. So I assume we'll probably start seeing some of that coming up soon.
Yeah, it was fun to watch that on the Loretta side of things, and they got some really good pitching, and some guys who weren't known to go a lot of innings went some long innings and did some good things there. Well, let's move on to the softball side of things, Mike. Lady Cats looking for the region. Lady Cats here on the screen went to Creekwood and played a long ball. 3 home runs. Elizabeth Hagan, Brindley Gillum, and Tevi Statham all went deep. 10-5 win against Creekwood, and they get to host a Substate. It's because of graduation tonight. That's been moved to 3 o'clock tomorrow against Springfield. So 2 teams trying to make it to the state tournament for the first time in their histories.
Yeah, really good start for the Lawrence County offensively. You mentioned Elizabeth Hagan, the 3-run shot in the first inning, gave them a nice lead. Her 3rd home run of the year. Same thing from Brindley Gillum to follow that up, and then Tevi Statham with the 2-run shot a little bit later to put on some insurance runs. And that Lawrence County offense showed up, and it was ready to play. Creekwood did battle back, but it seemed like anytime they were getting back into it, the Lawrence County offense would put up a couple more runs, and they really kept the Redhawks on their heels and are now playing at home for a chance to go to the state tournament, like you mentioned, AJ, for the first time in school history.
And it's crazy to think, especially when I got here, Lawrence County softball is, of all the programs at Lawrence County, has probably been the most consistent. Like, they've been consistently good. But now they're like taking this extra step. Last year they made it to the Substate. The team they played was just unreal good.
Well, and I think when they moved from 3 classifications to 4 classifications for baseball, softball, and basketball, that it benefited a school like Lawrence County because they're a bigger school, so they're not going to be stuck in the same group with the Lorettos and the Summertowns, but they're also not up there with the Blackmans and the Seagulls and all the Nashville, Murfreesboro area schools. So having a smaller classification kind of for some of those middle of the range schools is perfect, and Lawrence County has been able to really benefit from that. And you've seen how much better baseball and softball have been over the past couple of years, now having a chance to make another run.
Yeah, and we've said it a lot, and it's been true, but it's been the easiest roads they've had in every sport. Good 3A helps. I think football being 5A when there's 7 classifications certainly helps, and the way kind of the regions have worked out where the roads are. It just is what it is. The roads are easier, and it just proves that you've got a really good program, and they're baseball, softball, the same thing. You've got good young talent. You don't have a ton of seniors, and you've got really good programs on the rise, and you give them a better road, they take advantage of it.
Yes.
Baseball's taking advantage of it. Now it's softball's turn here on Saturday.
Yeah, because for so long it's kind of felt like Lawrence County sports have looked a little down compared to Loretto and Summertown. Listen, they have the same caliber of athletes. It's just they haven't been able to display it because you run into those Nashville schools, those Murfreesboro schools, and they make anybody down here look small.
The Cumberland area.
Yes, I would say the Uppermans and the Cookfuls. I mean, they would make anybody around here look not very athletic.
Yeah. Other teams will look out for it. We got David. Every game is we got Millington and Crockett County are Saturday as well. We've got David Crockett versus Gibbs, Cock County. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, versus Milton. Alcoa, Watertown, Stowe Memorial, Soddy Daisy, Liberty Creek, Creekwood, our game, McNary, Central Brighton, Millington, and Crockett County. So those are the teams involved in the state. Trying to get to the state tournament next week. That will begin on Tuesday if they move forward there. Also got Summertown will be in action tonight. They've got to go on the road to Harpeth. And so, they just kept running into community. They do better at community.
Yes, I was about to say, I think their 2 wins have been at community.
Yeah.
Summertown, and again, it's one of those where, I said it that day that, games that have been higher offensively have benefited Summertown.
Yeah.
Obviously, Summertown did take an early 2-0 lead and actually had community kind of reeling. They had to go to the bullpen and bring Annie Prince out of the bullpen there in I believe the 4th inning, and then she slammed the door. Community was able to take the lead back and not give up another run. But for Summertown, you got to travel to Harpeth, but it's not a trip you haven't made before. Obviously, it feels like Loretto and Summertown kind of took turns going there for volleyball Substate. So getting a chance to play this team again for a chance to go to the state tournament, you like your odds.
It's a winnable game. They went up 2-0 on community, and what happened here? And then community is just good. They do what they do. And hang on, I'm trying to get her not to call people. Almost called Corey again. or Dawson James, my cohort over there. What sunglasses were you trying to buy?
It's sunny out today, so you definitely need some shades.
Here, eat some nuggets, you did eat your nuggets. My goodness. Okay, but yeah, hey, this is your goals to get there. They do have 2 teams I've already gotten there. Adamsville and Scotts Hill have already qualified. So you got Community, Stewart County, Marion County, White House Heritage, Westmoreland, Cannon County, Unicoi?
Yes.
County, Sweetwater, Kingston, and Eagleton. So those are the teams on that side. Also forgot to shout out, Mike, Richland Baseball.
Yes.
It's the state tournament next week. They took care of business this week as well.
Yeah, they've had an excellent season, Richland, and kind of expected. I mean, they were one of those teams that was kind of in the top 10 really all year. Meeting them in the state tournament, you're going to have Dresden, Greenfield, Eagleville, another team that you would kind of expect. They actually had to come out of the losers bracket, I believe, and had to travel for their substate. But obviously Richland, Gordonsville, Sale Creek, and then I believe Coalfield and University School of Johnson City and Greenback Game 3 tonight.
So, and also, how about Mount Pleasant?
Yeah.
Softball. They're in the sub-state tonight. They go to McEwen. So, hey, that's kind of been a program on the rise. They've unfortunately had those Summertowns and the Lewis counties in their way. And they've gotten an easier road. They've taken advantage of it. Now they're a win away from going to the state tournament.
Yeah, and I've actually found this really interesting is to kind of go back to some of those older districts that Loretto and Summertown used to be in back when they were in 1A and kind of seeing how things have turned out. Where are the Collinwoods and the Wayne counties and the Mount Pleasants, the Eaglevilles, the teams like that. Yeah. And it's actually been really interesting to see how they've been able to thrive. And, Mount Pleasant obviously now getting a chance to play in the sub-state for, so on the softball side. I mean, a trip to the state tournament on the line's got to have that big game feel.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be a lot of fun from them. Good luck for all of them coming up tonight and tomorrow night. We would love to see as many local teams over in Murfreesboro. Keep us busy.
Yes,
because it can get real lonely around here when we don't have any place to be. Lawrence County Baseball's done their part. Everybody else, it's time to do your part as well. Well, Mike, we'll move ahead because I've got a ticking time bomb over here to my right. Don't know if you saw this, and I think it's going to bring up a larger issue, but collegiate men's soccer is now, they've passed a proposal that collegiate men's soccer, Tessa, don't touch that. No, ma'am. Thank you. She's about to turn her sound off. Collegiate men's soccer is now going to be a fall and a spring sport. They're going to split up their season, so they're going to Tessa, no. They're going to play the proposal says they're going to play 18 games in the fall, 10 games in the spring. The national tournament will be in the spring.
Man, I don't really know where to go with that. That is strange to say the least. I'm not sure how it would work with. Yeah. Obviously, I know with major college baseball, you have a lot of schools that will do you play a bunch of games in the fall. You have fall ball. kind of confusing how the schedule would work, having it in the fall and in the spring.
Yeah.
Is it saying that would be the same schedule, or is it going to be two separate seasons? That's kind of the questions I have right now.
Yeah, it's there's a lot up in the air. I think she's just going to go back to that. But golf is already doing that on the men's and women's side, and because theirs is more weather dependent.
Yes.
But I think it's more of a kind of a staffing thing. Like,
yes,
you're going to be able to staff all of this.
Yeah, and because you look at the smaller sports, their coaching staffs are pretty small, 2, sometimes 3 or 4, at least with the immediate coaching staff. And men's college soccer definitely not as big as on the women's side, so I would assume that those numbers are even down. But yeah, staffing it's definitely going to be an interesting question. But I'm honestly just curious with how the new schedule model is going to work out.
Yeah, I am too. But that's been proposed. She's a fan.
I would say she's happy, so it may be a good move.
But I think that might be the first of many dominoes. I think in this new world of college sports and trying to fight for attention. I mean, and part of it is, okay, if you're going to do that with the men, are you going to do that with the women? Like, are they the next domino that's going to fall in all of that? Because obviously the Title IX part, if you're going to do that for the men, why not do that for the women?
For the women.
But is that going to be the next sport? I mean, were you going to do that with volleyball?
Yeah.
Are we going to do that? Baseball and softball, you can't. Football, obviously, it's basically bleeding into the winter anyways.
At this point.
Or should it be like maybe, because volleyball's an indoor sport? The mic's working.
Check.
Yep.
Okay.
Look what you did. Look what you did.
I would say at this point, football is becoming a 2-semester sport with the fall and the winter. Maybe lengthening some sports out is a good move to kind of take the stress off them, because it does mention that the season is played in a 10 to 12 week window with the College Cup ending in December. Maybe a chance to lengthen the season to play more games, this, that, and the other. Maybe it could be good and try to expand the men's college soccer game, because it's not very big in the SEC. I'm not sure how many SEC
But they don't
schools
even have. I think it's Kentucky, South Carolina, because they're all in the Sun Belt.
in the Sun Belt. Yes.
Because West Virginia, because the Big 12 doesn't have men's soccer. West Virginia's in that as well, because it's funny that with all the West Virginia, other than baseball, tries to avoid playing Marshall and everything, but they can't avoid Marshall in the same conference. So I believe Kentucky and South Carolina have been a part of that. But it's not every. We've talked about before in the Big 12, like, Iowa State doesn't have baseball, but they have softball. West Virginia doesn't have softball, but they have baseball.
Well, Wisconsin, another school that doesn't have baseball.
Yeah, it's,
Vanderbilt doesn't have softball.
Yeah.
So,
But they brought on volleyball.
Yes, I would say they did add volleyball recently, which is a good move.
But it just no ma'am, Tessa, no, yeah, come here. Plenty to play with over here. I just didn't want us to get muted again. But I just think it could be leading to something bigger. Like there's another domino that's going to fall, something else where some sport is going to get their schedule changed up a bit. And again, the coaches are voting on this.
Yes.
These presidents and these athletic departments are voting on this. I don't want to say I'm sure there's a good reason, because I'm not trusting that there's a good reason, but there's got to be some reason why this was even brought up in the first place.
Yeah, and I really just don't know where this leads, like you mentioned with other sports. And it makes me think the Olympic sports, with the track and fields, with the swimming, those related sports. I don't know how it's going to affect their seasons, because I'm not as knowledgeable about how their seasons kind of work. But I do think that we're going to start seeing this expand onto some of the I don't want to say less focused on, but definitely the ones that aren't as high traction-wise.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where all of this goes moving forward. And to kind of touch on a fun bit. There's this meme that went out that we were all talking about Georgia football.
Yes.
Gas prices are so high that even Georgia football stopped getting arrests. Not even within an hour of that being dropped and being shared by everybody. I even sent it to my brother-in-law. Another Georgia player got arrested for like doing 95 in a 45. Like at some point, someone at that school, because Kirby Smart's clearly not doing this, someone at that school has to go, hey guys, this is a problem. Like they've already gotten someone killed.
Yes, I would say that was a big story. What, a couple of years ago?
And that guy got drafted. His stock dropped because of it, but that guy got drafted.
Yeah, I would say you have it again with another. Riddle was arrested for speeding at nearly 100 miles an hour in possession of a controlled substance. And obviously, I don't remember what exactly. There was an old joke. It was like you liked playing. I think it was Steve Spurrier. It was joking about he used to like playing Georgia early in the season because half their team would be suspended. And this was back in the 90s. Or they'd have a couple of key players out. So
I love Spurrier.
When are we going to have some sort of I don't know, just repercussions? Because I'd say I feel obviously if you go to other workplaces and you have guys getting arrested at alarming rates, that place is either just going to go out of business or have to hire elsewhere.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's no negative repercussions for really anything along the lines of this.
I mean, 32 arrests, someone's been killed, and you just want to go like, what's the tipping point?
Yeah.
Like, what's the tipping point? Is it your starting quarterback? Does he need to do something? Is it your legit? Because you've had first round picks do this.
Yeah. It's not just like the random third string defensive back or something. No, these are starters or big time bench players. Yeah. It's not like you mentioned. It's not just the regular guy. I mean, these are premier players on their teams.
Yeah. So there's got to be something that has to happen there. We do have the PGA going down. Right now, we haven't talked about this.
I would say I was just talking about it with Corey in there a moment ago that I was like, man, I didn't even realize that this was the PGA Championship this weekend.
Yeah, and well, the big story right now is John Rahm having to apologize for hitting a volunteer with a divot that he took a swing in frustration during the first round. Didn't like his approach, and I got a flyer, and I got really mad, and that divot came back and hit him volunteer. Trying to find out who's winning this thing, right? Pottegater? Right now.
I would say
Matsuyama, Smalley. There's a bunch of, it's Friday. We're in the second round.
Yes.
So it's pretty close right now. So not really much to talk about there outside of that. Pretty jammed up leaderboard.
Yeah, but I'd say Matsuyama shot already a 67 today. He should be probably. I would say he would lean towards the top of that leaderboard for most of the day, but obviously you still got some of the bigger names. The Xander Schauffele's, the Scotty Schefflers that still haven't shot yet today. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, and but also there's another part of golf that we haven't talked about yet, and that's Live Golf might cease to exist after this year.
Well, I mean, we talked about when Live, sort of broke away and started taking some of the bigger PGA stars that, we kind of wondered how long this was going to go, whether it was going to be a 5 or 10 year thing, was it going to be a 20 or 30 year thing, how long was it going to be, and I mean, you're starting to see some of the conditions, some of the courses they're playing on, and some of the events they're holding. Yeah, there's a lot of money in it, but it's not profitable for anybody. So I kind of wondered when it was going to be. We come to a point when it was going to have to cease.
Yeah. It's a lot of money got poured into it, but they did get some top guys. But like you said, they're not playing at top tier golf courses.
No.
And it's kind of odd, and I'm not getting political with this at all. I'm just pointing out a fact here. They were playing on some of Trump's courses. He was kind of helping this league out. And the thing that might bring it down is our conflict in Iran.
Yes.
And that's part of the reason, because it's not just Live. There's other parts that the PIF, the Saudi Investment Fund, has started to pull money from, because there's not as much money coming in anymore.
Exactly, yeah. And that was kind of some of the things I wanted to wonder about, is how we were going to have some sporting conflicts with Live and the Riyadh season, because they have a bunch of sports stuff that they'll do with companies from America. So we're starting to kind of see the ugly end of it. But I feel like really just the last couple of years, and especially at the Masters, you really kind of see you started to see kind of a separation of Live guys from PGA guys. I mean, DeChambeau, I would say, is maybe 1A up there with Dustin Johnson, some of those guys. But I mean, their performances at the Masters were kind of laughable.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Bryson didn't even make
no, he I would say he was part of the first cut. So, when that's your top guy and he's getting a chance to go to another company and kind of show off, and that's the best he can provide, it kind of reflects poorly on yourself. And when you're already going through a kind of a worldwide conflict, it's not the time to have that.
No, and we're seeing the repercussions there. There's a lot of tours, concert tours being canceled. Post Malone being the biggest one. A couple others where he says he's recording a new album, but I mean, I looked at some concerts to go to this summer around Nashville. Big name artists, or at least artists I find big names, maybe not everybody, but a lot of empty seats. And Ticketmaster's starting to cut off some of the fees. Like, they're basically begging people to go. People still aren't going. And this isn't just having, again, I'm not getting political. I'm just stating facts here that this conflict, yet it's had an impact on the sports world when it comes to Live. But when do we start having an impact? When's that going to start having an impact? I mean, if it makes it to football season, exactly. We might not see it so much baseball wise because it is. They're not a sport that sells out everything every day. But I remember I was I was looking this week before my schedule got bogged up about going to the Cubs Braves game on Tuesday, and I'm like, because now Ticketmaster, the good thing, even though I hate all the fees. But the good thing that they're doing now, they include the fees in the total price. Yes. So you're not clicking on it going. And then it just jumps to, from $150. I'm buying a $10 ticket, and I'm like, two $10 tickets should be $20. Why is it $60 on my page right now? They've included that. So good on them for doing that. But I'm like, plus fees, I can get into a Braves game for $20. Like, they're begging people to come to stuff. I don't think, minor league baseball I think will be fine. Major League This is my life every day. I think Major League Baseball will be fine. I think if this isn't resolved by the fall, we're going to start seeing some problems. Yeah. All gas, no brakes. You said it. But, look at the NFL season when it comes around. And you got the 60 and 70 and 80,000 seat stadiums. A big thing for that is the travel. Yeah. Well, if gas is $4.50 a gallon and tickets are $150, $200, people aren't going to these games. They'll sit home and watch. And average parking price for a major league or for a professional sports game is $20. They spend, if you take a family of four, you're going to spend $125 in concessions, and you add on the ticket prices. I mean, the tourism industry is about to get hit bad. It's already being hit bad. And I think if this isn't resolved by the fall, and we don't start seeing gas prices fall below $3 again, I think college football is going to get massively impacted. Yes. Maybe not so much at the SEC level, but the smaller schools. The FCS is already struggle with it. Well, like UNA with their new conference, with the brand new conference, it's going to have travel. You got teams from Colorado and Utah and Texas in this conference. And listen, UNA is mostly probably going to drive to some of these. Now, I would assume that they would fly for most of them, but travel costs are going to be insane. Yeah. And when are we going to? It's going to happen at some point that we're going to see some smaller school have to cancel a football game because they just can't afford to travel. Yeah, exactly. And that will, if this isn't already opening people's eyes, it should be. It should. Again, and I would assume that most of these colleges and universities are planning ahead for this, a contingency plan type of deal. Yeah. But again, we're not being political. We're just pointing out the simple facts of when you look at $4 on the gas pump, and we're actually cheaper than a lot
of other places.
A lot
Yes,
of places in the northern part of our country
are nearing $5.
Or already over $5. So we're just pointing out that it might not be so much of a problem now,
but coming up it will be. Yeah,
a major problem. But again, we hope they are in talks with Iran. Hey, get down. Thank you. They are in talks with Iran. We hope those do get resolved. We open up everything we need to get, and hopefully by the fall all this gets resolved. And
yes,
we can go on and live a normal life. But we're just pointing out the obvious, that there's a lot of dominoes falling because of this.
Yeah,
we just hope it gets resolved before it becomes a major problem.
I would say I always like the sports world because it's kind of detached from the real world, political world. But when it comes to things like travel expenses, it does make that impact on the sports world, because I feel like that's a ton of travel for just for the country as a whole.
I mean, and again, Tennessee goes 8-4 in football again. You might see
you're going to Florida. I mean,
you might not see a lot of people go to that bowl game, or you might not have sellouts in Neyland Stadium.
Yeah,
or Tennessee Titans.
You got a new stadium you need to sell out.
Yeah, and people already weren't going to the games last year. Can you imagine now what that place is going to look like?
Well, that's the thing. You're going to see some of these teams and programs. It could be college, it could be professional. That if they're struggling, nobody's going to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already outrageous to get into some of these events. If your team's not winning, you don't want to go. Yeah. So you may start seeing some of that.
I even locally, I know we've got baseball going first time since '77. We could have Summertown and Lawrence County softball going. They're looking at $4 gas prices on the way there. They might be picking and choosing which games to go to, which we can't blame you for doing that. We can't blame you. We'll be there, audio, maybe video, depends. We got some things to work out there, but
it's
tough.
Be
choosing. It's tough, and we're certainly feeling it. I know everyone's feeling it. Again, we're not being political. We're just pointing out the facts here of it. NBA tonight, Mike. We got 2 games, and we might have our conference finals series lined up. Game 6 in Minnesota. Spurs at the Timberwolves. Spurs lead at 3-2. Game 6, Cavaliers hosting the Pistons. They lead that one 3-2, and we might have our conference title picture wrapped up by then.
Yeah, and I imagine that we probably will. Now, Cleveland's put up a great fight in this series, and honestly wouldn't shock me if that one did go to 7. But, man, I thought Minnesota had a chance to make a run. Obviously, you did get Anthony Edwards back in this series, but Dylan Harper has made himself a force for this Spurs team, and the fact that he's doing what he's doing as a rookie on top of the already incredibly talented players they have around him, obviously Wembanyama, obviously De'Aaron Russell, they've been an incredible team. Stephon Castle's on this team. This has been an extremely loaded Spurs team that you blink and you realize they're 62-20.
Yeah.
Finishing the regular season, they shouldn't be in a 6-game series with the Timberwolves. They should have probably maybe swept them, but probably looking like at least 1 versus 2 in the Western Conference, maybe 1 versus 3 on the East.
Yeah. So that we'll find out if we're going to have a pair of Game 7s or 1 Game 7, or they might be done. And we'll be talking about the conference finals coming up here on Monday. Hockey-wise, the Avalanche and the Golden Knights, 2 1 seeds, 2 division champions. They're going to face off. That game will be on May 20th, which is a Wednesday.
Yes. Man, they got a bit of a break.
Yeah, they do have a bit of a break. And the Hurricanes still waiting on the Sabres and the Canadiens. The Canadiens took the lead last night, 3-2. They will play tomorrow in Game 6, try to close it out at home. So those series still, that's the lone series up for grabs. So we got 2 left in the NBA, 1 in the NHL.
I would say we've actually had the home team win some in that Sabres-Canadian series. But yeah, we're about to have the conference final set up for the NHL. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me if Montreal took the series tomorrow. Nothing against Buffalo. They've looked really good, but this Montreal team has been special.
And they're scrappy. They're making good plays, really good defensively. You got to go there. That place is going to be rowdy. I can't remember the last time they made it to the conference finals. All of Canada's behind them, literally, because they haven't won a Stanley Cup since '93.
Wow, really?
And it was the Canadiens.
It was the Canadiens, yeah.
I can't even remember the last time they went to the finals. a Canadian team went to the finals?
I feel like it was pretty recently.
I think so too. Edmonton. Duh.
I was about to say it was
gotten beaten back-to-back years.
I'd say it was last year. I was like, I feel like there was a team last year. It was Edmonton. Yeah.
What a hockey fan I am, right? And they just haven't won one.
Yes.
Since 93, the whole country. Not only do we dominate you in the Olympics, we just dominate you.
Well, and they have like 5 or 6 teams, so they have their fair share in there.
Yeah. When the state of Pennsylvania has a shorter drought than you do, that's a problem there. And then one NFL story to get to before we exit here, Mike. How about Dion? He just always has to be in the headlines.
Yes.
There just always has to be in the headlines, saying his son went through hell during a turbulent pre-draft process in rookie season with the Browns, adding he believes both were rife with untruthful reporting. When he takes off his shirt, I see scars on his back, and that he's been through hell. But he's made it through hell. Dion said in an interview with the barbershop. Of course, go to someplace that's not going to ask a follow-up question. He kept going, and he matured, not like he was a child, but he matured spiritually. He added, he came to understand you can't force this. If it ain't your time, it ain't your time. Like, my only thing about that, Mike, is they created the hell.
Yeah.
That's 100% on them.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe back in the 90s when Dion was playing, you'd like to have a defensive back with a little flair, a little, pizzazz about him. I mean, primetime was all over. It's not what the NFL wants now. No. You want, and it kind of sounds dumb that you would want maybe a kind of a shadow of a quarterback, but you don't want somebody that's going to be in the news every day, and especially for the Browns, because it feels like anytime the Browns are in the news, it's negative. They just want a quiet quarterback that can lead them through the season. And look, they already went and took another one in this draft because they probably messed up last year so bad that they just feel like they need to get another one. But I had never heard of pre-draft interviews being as big of a deal as they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you hear about them. It's like, this dude's interview didn't go good, blah, blah, blah. But for it to be every interview that he did to go that way, and for him to drop as much as he did in the draft, and for that to be as big of a deal as it was, I would say he probably has been through hell, but based on what expectations were. But again, it's like you said, you did this to yourself. You made yourself the center of attention, and it's not something that flies in professional sports nowadays, unless you are good enough to back it up. And nothing against Shador, but he has not played enough in the NFL to be good enough to back it up yet.
Exactly. And when you create all the headlines and you create all the craziness, you have nothing to do but to blame yourself.
Exactly.
So, all right, Mike, you survived 42 minutes of chaos over here, and hey, at least she didn't scream this time.
Yeah, I would say last time we had Miss Rachel really came in clutch.
Yeah, she really did. Now, you found your apples. Okay, well, now it's time to log off here. So from Michael Marks, I'm AJ Good. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.